All right, so here's, I don't know what I'm doing, part 10. So I got to thinking, what would it look like if we added a amplifier to this? I'm sorry, to the audio input jack. And I said, well, I don't have an amplifier. Well, I did find a 50C5 in Old Blue, and I think another one next to Old Blue had one. So I got to studying the circuits that use them, and basically there's a screen grid resistor, there's your plate load resistor, so B plus is coming from here. This is going to be a 125 volts, well really it's 124, but we'll just call it like that, and it's going to drop I think 39 volts on this resistor. I think I made it so this should see about 85, and then that should see about 100 if I'm not mistaken. If that's the case, and it may not be the case, and I could be blaringly wrong, there should be about 0.33 watts going through each of these resistors, and they're a half a watt, so I chose that number to get the maximum amount of current and without going too far over the wattage. Well, I wanted to have a 1.5% safety factor, so 0.33 times 1.5 is equal to 2. I think. Let's try that. Hold on. 0.33 times 1.5. Oh, half a watt. That's what I meant to say, because they're not 2 watts a resistor. They're half a watt. That's what I meant to say. So there you go, 1/2 watts. Anyways, plate. So that's the input. I'm going to put the input right here. The negative, I'm not really sure where to go with it, but we'll figure that one out in a minute. I got a grid load resistor. I'm not really sure what this should be. I'm just gonna guess. I looked at a couple of schematics. They seem to have around 470K, so I'm gonna just go with that. Cathode, I didn't draw this in here, but I have a cathode. What did I do for the cathode? Hold on. Oh yeah, 130 ohms. Or I think I did 150 ohms. To ground. Now I know that there's oftentimes a bypass capacitor right here. And I don't know if I should include one. I didn't see one included in the Pt6. I'll show you in just a minute. I did not see one included in the, so here's the Pt6 schematic. I guess that could be something right here I'm looking at. But it doesn't go to ground necessarily. It's the 130 going to ground. The ground's going to be down here. I'm sorry, where my mouse is, right there. That's neutral. It does connect, I guess, above the pin, the grid load resistor. So let's just skip that one for now because I'm not sure what that guy is doing. And look at over here. This is in the zenith, and see, he just goes straight to ground. Oh yeah, look at this. Maybe that's something, huh? His is going from 0.01. Now, is that to keep radio frequencies like AC off of the B plus line? I'm guessing. So maybe I should add that. Doesn't seem like it would hurt. Yeah, maybe we'll add that. All right. So maybe we'll add a capacitor going from the plate to, we'll put this one right here and then plate up here. Connected up to here. All right. Coupled from the plate to the input of the G2, of the amp, and I think that's about it. This is being run on a 50 volt DC supply because I didn't have 50 volts AC. So again, it's just a test. I'm not trying to run this in a box or nothing. I'm just trying to see, does it work? So that's a 50 volt DC supply. Thank you very much. 6 is going to B plus through this resistor. 7 comes down here, plate load resistor, couples to the input of the other two, which I don't have connected yet. Grid load resistor goes to ground. And I guess the only thing I'm missing here might be that capacitor that we talked about. Put the leg up here and then the capacitor up here up to there. I might experiment kind of both ways. I know that the grid is supposed to be of a negative voltage. At least I understand that the grid here, grid number 1, the control grid, is supposed to be at a negative voltage with respect to the cathode, I believe. And it needs to stay in there, I think, for a Class A amplifier. So that's kind of where I want to look at it right now. Because I don't have the expertise or the knowledge to start doing Class B, Class C, and all that. I just kind of want to like drag it down. Kind of where I'm at right now. Yes, I understand these things are live. Here's what I've gotten so far. I've got the tube over there, and these are the tubes sockets were just too close for me to get alligator clips safely in there. So I took some of these basically plastic connectors, whether they're wire, they're copper, and they're very, very cheap. What could possibly go wrong? They have voltage ratings, but I think it's written all in Chinese, mainly for low voltage stuff. But I think that it'll be fine for right now. The only highest voltage I have is 100 volts, and the milliamps going through it is not much at all. In fact, I think it's like 8 milliamps, if I wasn't mistaken, and 13 for the 13 for him. So I've got an electronic book that says blow things up, burn things out. That's how you learn. So, oh, it didn't say shock the living crap out of you. So don't touch the red. Don't touch the, well, I guess the black is the neutral, but anyways. All right. Am I getting your blood pressure up? You're probably saying, you forgot to do what? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm going to shock myself. I don't mean to. I don't want to. I'm trying to be very careful. But I'm also trying to learn. So I guess that's how we do it. So let me get back with you a little bit, and I'll show you some progress. All right, so it looks kind of like a mess, but nothing's touching at the moment. It doesn't need to be touching. I decided to implement not only this capacitor, I got this, I think it's a 0.0005. I know it's small. Again, I'm learning here. It's really truthful. It's what I have. I've got a 0.005. I've got a 1 microfarad, and I wasn't sure exactly which one to put there, so I decided to put the 0.005, and I put the 1 microfarad coming down to here, going to ground. Keep the RF off of the V+. Oh, was that right? No, that couldn't be right. Is it? V+ comes in here. No, all right, maybe I'll get rid of this one. I'll take this one out. You can only smoke that much, huh? Oh, and by the way, if this blows up in my face, I don't think you're going to be hearing about this. I think you're going to probably not receive this video. None of this is live, by the way. Not right now. All right. So that's my screen grid capacitor. I'm sorry, my screen grid resistor. I put them back to back because I wanted to get the value as close as I could to 1729. I believe I got 1680 something right there. That 40, what is that, a 47K? 4.7K, I'm sorry. That's this one right here. So my AC is gonna, my B plus, which is coming straight from mains voltage, not through any of the transformer, has nothing to do with the circuit at all, is gonna come up, go into the plate. Let's see. I tell you what, rather than me talk about this, yeah, it's gonna go into plate. That's pin number 8 right there. I'm looking at pin number 7, that's what I meant to say. All right, so basically, let me look at this, make sure everything's straight, and we'll do a power on in just a sec. All right, so let's try around. So 50 goes on, that's on. 50 volts goes on. I did check it earlier. It does at least light up. I'm not sure if the tube is good or not. All right, let me plug in the main juice. Well, I gotta look underneath here. You watch for the fire. I do have eye protection going on, by the way, right now. I'm just doing the smoke test right now. Just a smoke test. So one thing I do want to make sure is my grid voltage is below the cathode. I'm trying to get to about a -8 volts. And I've got it configured so that these resistors can be changed for different configurations. My light on the tube does not appear to be glowing too brightly. My plate, that's this one right here. So right below my finger, right there is below my finger. That's hot. That should be about 100 volts. No, I'm sorry, 85 if I was not mistaken. And then over here is going to be my output going to the this thing if it works. My input goes on top of here. My input comes in basically here, and it comes into right there, I guess. And that's that white thing. It's not connected to anything right now, so there's no signal going in. So I guess let's just take a few voltage measurements. I'll put you, hold on. I appreciate your time. I know that you got stuff to do. I actually got surprised that Aunt Teresa asked me to pick up the boys, so it's going to cut my day short. All right, there's that. So I'm on voltage DC. And look at the top of the plate. All right, and negative voltage, so that is not correct. Let's look at below. Oh, that's AC, hold on. Sorry, I lost you when I switched it to AC. So basically I was not getting nothing. I suspected the connection of the transformer, but it was an even dumber mistake. Had it plugged in, but I don't have the isolation transformer turned on. So let me put this on the top of the plate again. That's okay right there. Turn you to volts DC. Let's energize the thing. Smoke, 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 smoke. Where's the smoke? Don't see any yet. Well, I am getting negative 50 volts, so hey, I'm doing something wrong. All right. All right, look, I can't safely unattach this, so I'm gonna just push this down and put you down for a minute and come back. All right, so I don't know if the tube had to warm up or nothing, but I kept it in the same spot, and now I'm getting 75 volts, which is exactly where I wanted it. I was shooting for 85, so that sounds about right. Let me see if I can't look at my grid current. I'm sorry, my grid voltage, my screen grid voltage to be specific. And that should have been about 100. And I think that's gonna be right here. So yeah, a little bit more than I wanted, but that's right. My grid, where was that one? My grid voltage is down here. Whoa, that ain't good. So this tube ain't doing any kind of nothing. So it looks like I might have to reconfigure these screen gauge resistors and or capacitor bypass, cathode bypass stuffs, because that does not look right. 63 volts positive, and let me look at the AC. Oh, that's on AC, I'm sorry, hold on. Why is there AC on that thing? Oh yeah, negative 50, that looks exactly right. Well look, I wanted it to be negative 8, so I'm way, way down. So it's probably what the gain is gonna be very, very bad, huh? The question is why was I seeing AC on my grid? I don't know, maybe you can answer that one. All right, so I might play with these resistors and see if I can get a better, a more closer to 8 volts negative DC offset. But right now, for the first time, just putting some stuff together with wires, I'd say that that's a success. What do you think? You're probably like, take me to the hospital, I'm having a heart attack. My son's gonna kill himself. All right, so I'm gonna play with this a little bit, see if I can get some better resistor values in there, and I'll let you know what I find out in just a sec. All right, so I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, it kind of makes me kind of, I don't know, nostalgic or something to the 1920s. You know, when they had, you know, the kids, you know, with the boards, you know, and the high voltage and the whole cat whisker thing, and you know what I'm saying? Golly, they must have had some shocks back then. I'm trying to do it a bit safer, but we'll see. So I took out that 470 kilo ohm. Hold on, gotta plug this in, and I replaced it with a 220 kilo ohm. I figured, let's say, let's double it or half it. And I say let's just half it and see where we're at. Oh, gotta get the plate, the heater voltage on. I really need to get some extra tube sockets, you know, to play with, so I don't have to have this mess of a wire hooked up. Oh, sorry, hold on. My heater, I plugged them out because I was trying to be safe. Hold on. There you go. All right, we're looking at the bias voltage, or the grid voltage rather, the control grid number 1 of the 50C5 tube. It just started, so it's still warming up. And again, I changed this capacitor, I'm sorry, forgive me, this resistor right there went from a 470 kilo ohm to a 220, because what we're getting, negative 47, negative 50 volts. Golly. It took a while last time, didn't it? Any smoke, any smoke? That is fun watching paint dry, huh? Well, it would help if I put the negative where it's supposed to be. The negative is just dangling here on the floor. I wonder if like real engineers, you know, like the guys back in the day did mistakes like these, you know, at least when they were learning. Must be easy to do. Oh, that's a lot more reasonable. You know, I might look at this, seeing as how it seems to be on the lower side. It does seem to be climbing. I wonder what would happen if we put a signal into it and we looked at it on a scope. Why is it climbing? Golly, I wish you were here. We would have a lot of fun. Because I think the worst that can happen if we did put a signal into it, of course, screw up the whatchamacallit, right? The computer, if it was coming from the computer, but I guess the worst that can happen is it would start to amplify, but it just wouldn't amplify that much. Is that right? Why are you climbing like that? I guess I should say descending. Looks like it's kind of, nope, it didn't stop. Let's look at the AC. So about the same, 56 volt AC. Kind of stopped at 47. What were we at, 47 before? So that didn't really seem to do much. Maybe it's the, not the screen grid, sorry, the grid load resistor, but maybe it's this guy that needs to change. I have a 150 kilo ohm right now. Let's change him and see what happens. What do you want to do? 1,000? 75? 300? I don't know, let's see where we're at. All right, so I just switched the cathode bypass resistor out for a 150. I went to a 1,000 ohm or 1 kilo ohm. Looks like we're getting a negative voltage, but much less, unless I just didn't catch it this early last time, but it seems to be starting at a lower value. And if I'm understanding it correctly, that if the say we had a 2 volt peak to peak, that part of the voltage would be high on the positive peaks of the AC wave, and in those moments it wouldn't amplify. Is that correct? This is just a normal amplification. All right, so somehow my video that I just recorded for you shut off and it didn't record. So to catch you up, I switched the the cathode bypass resistor right here. I switched that to from a 150 ohm resistor to a 1,000 ohm, 1 kilo ohm resistor. And you can see that it's still climbing or really descending, but it's much more in line of where I wanted it to be. I wanted to try to get about negative 8 volts. Why is it descending like that? I don't know. I'm almost tempted to just put in some sort of signal. Now the question of the day is if I'm getting 50 volts of AC on that signal line, why am I getting 50 volts of AC on that signal line? Well, not anymore. Because I didn't want to plug it into a computer with AC going in, having to be AC coming out. Now, wasn't that what the purpose of the grid loading? It gives the oh no, that's an AC that goes to ground. I was gonna say the AC needs to have a capacitor to go to ground. There's no such thing as a grid loading capacitor. I don't know, but I'm not real comfortable with AC like that to just plug it into my audio jack. I'm not really sure about that. All right, well, the learning experience. I guess I'll think about it some more and get back with you. Maybe I'll send this to you and have you call me right away saying, stop, don't do this. I don't know. All right, thanks for your time. So basically right now I'm going to figure out why I got AC on my cathode, my grid 1, control grid. Try to figure out what's going on there, and once I can get that taken care of, I'll put in a signal and see if it actually amplifies the signal.